Okay, so a couple of things that we want to talk about when we're providing respite services, and we've seen some escalation in behaviors. A lot of that behavior shows up as some attention seeking, but then also is maintained or is happening because of the ability to get access to something that is wanted, and also maybe not having that generalization or that being able to work with every caregiver. There are some caregivers that are really clear about the expectations, and so those are followed. And when there aren't those clear expectations, then there's some testing with some of those boundaries. So proactively, we want to set expectations before we go into different settings. If we're in the car, if we're in the house, before we go into the car, before we go into a store, we want to set expectations. We're going to walk to the car. We're going to be gentle with the doors. We're going to stay close. When we go inside of this store, we're going to buy chips and body wash and straws. We want to be very clear, and we want to be very direct with what those things are. So we don't need to be forceful or harsh, but we do want to be clear. We want to have a clear, direct voice. We want to be making eye contact. We want to remember that we are the caregiver. We're the person who is in charge, for lack of a better word, but also the person that can set these expectations to help things be safe. So it's very important, because if not, then there can really be that power struggle of, oh no, I'm going to do whatever I want. And that's a detriment to the client. So we're not being kind or generous by doing that. We're doing a disservice. So we want to be very clear. These are the things that need to happen. This is what we're going to do. These are the really cool, fun reinforcers that are available. So that's the first thing we want to do proactively, is we want to be clear about expectations. When we come back in the house, we want to be clear. We're going to be able to have the burger and fries that you just got, and then we can have a dessert afterwards. And we want to be direct about that, so that there isn't this high rate behaviors to access other things. Once it is clear what's going to happen, and that there is going to be access to things that are preferred, some of those more access maintained behaviors or attention maintained behaviors can decrease. So we want to set those clear expectations. Now, if we're going to a place that there is a high likelihood of behavior, like if you're seeing really high force of slamming doors or inappropriate behavior in and out of the car, then we don't want to just hope that that won't happen. Because if the client's been able to do that repeatedly in your car, then most likely she's going to continue to try to do it. So we want to be close by, so that we're near the car door when it's open, and we're going to do some prompting to where there isn't the ability to have that high force. So we're going to help with opening the door at first, and we're going to praise, oh, thank you for having such nice, calm hands. And then we're going to close the door nice and soft, and we'll say, oh, thank you, gentle, gentle. Those are all phrases that she's very familiar with and understands. Now, if we are not able to get there and do that, then we're going to use positive practice. So that's where we're going to, if it's the car door, I know that's something that's happening a lot, some really high force with that, and some potential property destruction to the car. We're going to open the door after it's been closed, and we're going to say gentle. And the door is going to be closed gently 3 times. Every time we're going to specifically praise it. And every time that the forceful slamming happens, we're going to do that. I realize that makes things take a little bit longer, but it is a behavior that she is very familiar with doing. She knows how to close the door with an appropriate force. She just does not know with you that that's something that's required. And so we just need to teach her that. This is something that's going to have to happen. And if it's not happening, then it's going to take longer to go where you want, because we're going to practice closing the door 3 times. Same thing in the home. If there's excessive force with throwing a backpack down, pushing to go past someone, rushing to grab the door and shoving to get through, we're going to use positive practice. We're going to ask her to go back, and then we're going to redo that behavior, whatever it was, walking through the hallway, setting the backpack down, We're going to ask for that to be redone 3 times. Because these are all behaviors that have been taught previously, it will really rapidly, she'll be able to generalize and see, oh yeah, with this person, I have to follow these same expectations. So we're just interrupting this challenging thing, and then we're practicing what we want. So setting expectations first and being clear and direct. We want to not feel timid or worried. We want to know that we're the person who's in charge. We're the person who's going to keep everybody safe, and we're going to come across in that way. We are going to use close proximity. That means we're going to stay close, especially in times that there's difficulty with transitions or safety. So we're going to stay nice and close so that we can help support so that those behaviors can happen less. If those behaviors are happening, we're going to use that positive practice. We're going to interrupt the behavior, or if it was an elopement to the bathroom, then we're not going to try to stop that elopement because it leads to further escalation, usually a big behavior outburst and a tantrum on the floor. It really exacerbates things. So we're going to go to the restroom so that she's safe and observed. When we exit the restroom, we're going to go back to whatever point the elopement happened from. We're going to cue, I want bathroom. She's going to repeat it. And then we're going to walk slowly to the bathroom with her using that close proximity control. We're staying close. So we're either interrupting things like slamming a door, throwing a backpack, things like that. If it's an elopement to a bathroom, we're not going to try to interrupt that because that's going to require physical intervention. There's going to be a big escalation. She's going to get a ton more attention for it. So we're just going to go.